Hello, everybody. It is the end of the week. Happy Friday. We are back with episode 8 of our Colorado Rockies Out of the Park Baseball 22 series. It is Friday, July 1st, the start of the international free agent signing period. The draft is coming up shortly as well in about 10 days. And well, not in about 10 days, in 10 days. And your Rockies are 37 and 38, so we're still playing around 500 baseball. 10.5 back in the NL West, but only 3 back in the wild card race behind a couple divisional rivals in the Padres and the Diamondbacks. So I asked a couple questions in the last episode. So let's see what the assistant general managers of the YouTube community have to say. We'll get this going here right now. Let me open up a comment, and here we go. Love the Sunny Gray edition. This was from a couple episodes ago, but I did not get a chance to put that in the last episode, so that'll be in this one. Try to get Burns down to 5 and sign him. My opinion. This was the main question that I asked, which was, should we try to extend Corbin Burns, and what should we kind of be looking for in extension? So this was the first opinion. Definitely need to extend Burns, 5 or 6 year deal at 15 mil per year, player option after 3 and TM after 4. I think that you should wait and see what Burns wants for arbitration and then decide if you should give him arbitration or sign to a big extension during the offseason. Also, would you consider bringing back Charlie Blackmon on a 1 year deal if the team could compete next year? So, if we take a look here at Charlie Blackmon's contract, he does have a player option. So, right now, you can see that he's coming in on his 10-5 rights. In fact, I think he already has it. He just passed it, I guess, last month. So now we can't trade unless he approves it, although I don't think I ever recall seeing this. Maybe I just never saw it before. Maybe I was just kind of ignorant. But I never saw people with 10-5 rights, a list of teams they would consider a trade to, which is pretty neat. Having said all that, you can see this year he has an 803 OPS. I will say, if he does decide to come back next year, I wouldn't be as upset as I was this time a season ago, because he's actually doing pretty well. I'd like to think that playing just DH is helping him out a little bit. And $10 million for a guy that's going to put up an 800 OPS, that's not a bad deal. So I'm not going to be as aggressive in trying to trade him away. So I would imagine that Charlie Blackmon will be a Colorado Rocky in 2023. That would be my opinion at this point, but things can change. Yes, I'd probably extend Burns about 1-3 free agent years. Maybe try for a few team options to give you some more control over the back end of the contract. Definitely would extend Burns, maybe not for 8 years, but would try and get something done. 27 years old, no known injury issues, solid 4-pitch pitcher. He'd easily be a number 2 or 3 starter on most teams. Got to keep him. Plus, you have so much money right now. You could probably go for 20 mil this season, a front load, and get a couple extra free agency years for cheap. I think I'd be aiming for a 6 or 7 year contract. Would check his BABIP to make sure this year isn't a fluke, though. And then got to extend Burns. Wow, Dwight from The Office commented on this video. Wow, look how lucky I am. Since he is 27, 4 or 5 years is probably the best, or probably the right length. And that was that. That was all the input that we got from our assistant GMs of the YouTube Out of the Park Baseball community. So we will take a look at Corbin Burns right now. So he's still doing pretty well. A 3.55 ERA, a 3.65 FIP. I think that this would probably be in line with what we can expect. I kept saying in 2021, I don't think he's just suddenly going to transform into a 7.7 ERA pitcher. I think that was just a number of factors. I do think that even if he pitched in the low fours, I'd probably be content. But this, I'm really happy with. 126 strikeouts to just 21 walks. He's been everything that we needed him to be, basically, which is very good. I could not have hoped for any more than what he's giving us. You see his BABIP this year right near league average at 303, so that's promising as well. So yeah, I think that this is a guy. I'm not going to extend him right this second, but I'd like to see if his demands have changed, and they still haven't changed. So I think this is a guy that we can kind of wait on for a little longer, and then we'll revisit it at some point, maybe during the season, maybe during the off season. But it doesn't seem like he's going to want a whole heck of a lot of money in an extension, which is good. That's exactly what we need. Taking a look at how the team has done, though, I did say we were 37 and 38. We actually started off the month of June pretty well. Over the first 17 games, we only lost, I think, 6 of them. But then it was a very uneven month in that we started well, but then we didn't do well towards the end of the month. We got swept by the Dodgers, lost 2 or 3 to the Padres, and coupled in with the sweep by the Reds and losing 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. We were in the NL West race for a lot, but now you can see we're 10.5 games out because of just when those losses happened. So I knew I wasn't going to compete in this division, but the fact that we stayed competitive through the middle of June is a little promising, I'd like to think. But now the NL West is all but out of reach, so we are still in the playoff race. If we are going to make the playoffs, it is going to have to be as a wild card, and we are going to have to find some way to catch up to Arizona because we're not going to catch up to San Diego, so it's going to have to be Arizona. Other than that, you could see the National League's kind of weak this year. San Diego's 48-29. They have a firm hold on that number one wild card spot. I mean, they're going to battle with the Dodgers, but you can see the Diamondbacks 40-35. They're only 3 games better than us. Miami's only 1 game better, which is why losing 2 out of 3 of them really hurt. But other than that, it's not a very strong National League this year. The Braves and the Mets are 35-39. The Reds are 34-39. You have 34-41 teams in the Cardinals and the Cubs. The Phillies are 33-42, 7 games back, and then you got the Pirates and the Giants at the rear. So getting a wild card berth this year isn't out of the realm of possibility, but that does mean we would have to make the correct addition at the deadline. We'll take a look here we'll start with the lineup first. So Tapia is leading our team right now in OPS at 847. He has a 111 OPS plus, and you can see that he's only hit 4 home runs this year, but he's been close to a 2-win player. Joey Gallo, it says he's projected to hit 37 home runs, so I don't think he's quite going to get to that 50 mark, which is unfortunate. I really thought that if he hit 40 in 2021, I really thought he was going to hit a lot this year. But still, he's been a solid player for us, not quite as offensively gifted as I wanted him to be. But an 816 OPS, 108 WRC plus. I'm hoping that maybe he can just do a little better. The 216 average, I did say that his batting average wasn't going to be very good, but still, despite that 216 average, he has a very good OBP of 349. And it's for 1 year, I can't be upset. I'd like to see what he would be looking for in an extension. That's a lot of money, so we're probably going to let Joey walk to free agency and just see who else is out there. Because I don't think if he was doing a lot better offensively than he was, like a 900 OPS, a lot of home runs, this was something I probably consider. But $30 million, I think, is a little much for me at this point. But we can always revisit it at some point down the road. We talked about Charlie Blackmon; he's doing well. Colton Welker, a 774 OPS. A lot of these guys are in the mid to high sevens. Didi's at 750. Valleda's at 736. He was higher, but he's kind of got a little cold streak recently. Tommy Edman is not doing as well as I wanted him to, but this is, as I said, I kind of saw this guy more as like a super utility kind of guy. But if he is one of the worst hitters in our lineup, I think we're doing all right. The problem is that Harrison Bader is kind of worse than him, a 694 OPS. I really, if he could get it into the sevens, I'd feel a lot more comfortable, but he's still been a 1.2 win player this year despite the low OPS. Zunino this season has 8 home runs. He has an OPS of 687, WRC plus of 80, but his WAR is positive, and I have to imagine he is helping out the pitchers in some capacity because the pitching staff is still doing pretty well for a Colorado-based team. We talked about Corbin Burns. Lance McCullers has proven to be a very solid addition, so I'm glad I'll have him locked in for another season. So that's very exciting. A 3.25 FIP as a Colorado Rockies pitcher is pretty impressive in my opinion. Austin Gomber, he was doing okay. He's just having an uneven season. Yency Almonte has been up and down this year. His ups have been pretty solid, but his downs have been really, really bad. And Sonny Gray, another guy that's been up and down. So we have 2 reliable pitchers. We have a couple that maybe we can rely on. But the bullpen's been very good outside of Jordan Hicks, who long-term I'm not really worried about. I think Hicks will be fine long-term. So if we're going to do anything at the deadline, I think we definitely have to try to get one starting pitcher I'd probably kick Almonte out of the rotation. And if we could get like a bat, I don't know what position, maybe like second base. Wait a minute. Whoa. Why do I still have Tommy Edman batting second? Oh, I should probably fix that. Okay, so that's something that I'm going to fix. But I say that because I'd probably maybe look to get an improvement Second base probably is probably the only place that we'd really, because we don't want to move Welker out of the first base slot. We're obviously not going to take Tapia out. Gallo's locked in as our right fielder. Blackman's locked in as the DH. Zanino is, for all intents and purposes, locked in as the catcher. I don't know if I'm going to get a better option. There's just, offensively for catchers, it's kind of barren out there. Valade is going to be our third baseman. We're not gonna kick him out of there. Although he does just expect to be a bench player, but still, I don't want to kick him out unless I get a major upgrade. And then Bader's locked in as our center fielder. We could look for an upgrade at shortstop, maybe. I don't know if that would really be quite worth it, but I don't know. We'll see what's out there. You take a look here. Defensively, we are a lot better than we were a season ago. We're third in defensive efficiency, fifth in zone rating, which in Colorado is pretty impressive. We haven't made a lot of errors this season. The pitching staff, even though the starters ERA, the FIP, and the pitching WAR isn't very high, you can see we're fourth in strikeouts. We're first in bullpen ERA. So there's a lot of reasons to be positive about this Rockies team. We, after starting 9-12 in April, 14-13 in May, 14-13 in June. So a lot of reasons to be positive for sure. So let's take a look here at the trading block. We'll just see who is potentially available. Chris Bassett is still one of the better options. I don't want to get Justin Verlander. He is an extreme fly ball pitcher, and he's not doing very well this season for the Giants. So, I mean, there's some names here. There's no one that really jumps out at me. I mentioned Christian Vasquez, but offensively, he's not even doing super well. So I don't think that would be worth it at that point, even though it wouldn't cost a lot to bring him in. We already have somebody that has some more pop in the bat, and maybe, defensively maybe not as comparable, but still just good enough. If we take a look here, I did want to show the manager's office. The one positive is that we are making our owner happy. We're playing close to 500 ball. We acquired Joey Gallo, who he deems to be a top player, and we did increase the attendance from 23,291 to now we're at 37,728, which is good. So the goal now is just to try to reach the playoffs. That's the next thing that we kind of have to crack. But let's take a look at the international amateurs. We'll see who is available this time around. So we have the center fielder here that doesn't really have a lot of power, but it seems like he could be pretty solid. Focus can be a problem, which is always risky, but I don't know. OSA seems to like him, I guess, evenly a little bit. Maybe not as much in the base running. I think that would probably be the best option this year. I do like to try to get involved with the international amateur market. There's a third baseman here, but defensively, it doesn't seem like he would stick at third. I don't know. There's certainly some options. I think I'm kind of tempted to go with the center fielder just because if he does develop and he does reach his full potential, he is very, well, maybe the error is not very good, but his range in his arm for a center fielder is very good. Not a lot of pop, but he has a lot of speed. He could avoid strikeouts, a pretty solid eye, gap power, contact. So I think this is the guy that we're going to go after this season in the international amateur market. And we're not gonna mess around. We'll just go for the full $5 million, and that'll be that. So we'll see if we sign him. The other fun thing is that we do have the number one pick in the upcoming draft, and there is a guy that I think for all intents and purposes, I'm pretty locked in on him as long as nothing has changed. So I will show you guys that in 10 days, and that's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to sim up to the draft, and we will get some new prospects into the system. Okay, it is the first year player draft, July 11th. We did sign that center fielder, so he is in our international complex. 41 and 43, so now we are 3.5 back in the wildcard race. So take a look at the schedule, show you guys what happened. So we did end up sweeping that series we took 3 out of 4 against the Brewers. We lost 2 games to the Giants. We've struggled against the Giants this year, which has been unfortunate because they are the worst team in that division, or in our division. That's really a team that we need to kind of bank wins on when we can, and we just haven't been able to do that. And we split against the Atlanta Braves, so that's left us 3.5 back. Let's go here to our mailbox, and so here is the message from our owner that we always get at midseason. I'm very happy with your 40 and 41 record so far. Keep up the good work. Thanks for your quick work in acquiring Joey Gallo. Now that I think about it, when I asked you for a top player, I think I had his face in my mind the whole time. I love seeing happy families at games, and we're certainly seeing a lot more of them this year than we have in the past. Keep them coming out, and I'll keep being happy with your work. During our time working together, I have been good with your progress towards the goals I've set out for you. I feel Similarly, about your handling of the team's on-field and front office management, the final evaluation towards these goals will come at the end of the season. Good luck in the second half, Charlie. Great. So we do have some guys that have expiring contracts, so those are things I'm going to have to address. But take a look here at the top 100 prospects mid-season. Here it is. Look for your favorite prospect. This is the top 10. Glad to see the Phillies have somebody in the top 10. Christian Okerholm. Harrison Bader got suspended for 4 games, which is not great. So let's see. He fought with Tim Cate. Great. Awesome. Lovely. But it is the first-year player draft, and so Elijah Green is the best option. He is a high school bat. You can see that this season he has OPS over 1,000, close to 2,000. Of course, in high school, but that is not who I'm locked in on. I'm probably locked in on this pitcher, Rogelio Delgado, out of Troy University. He is a ground baller. He sits 99 to 101 miles per hour. It seems like he could be a good 4-pitch pitcher with good stuff, good movement, good control. This season in college, he's pitched to a 1.63 ERA, and his demand is right in line with the slot for the first overall picks. That's probably the guy I'm going to get. I took a look at Robbie Rhodes. He has a lot of pitches. He has 6. He sits 96 to 98. He also has solid stuff, movement, and control. He would just want to sign for the slot, so he would be an easier sign. But I think I'm probably locked in on Rogelio Delgado. Just get another power arm in the system. Joe Mitchell was also appealing, but I think we're locked in on Rogelio Delgado. That is probably the guy that we're going to go with. So, with that being said, let's get into the first-year player draft. As I said, we do have the first pick, the first overall pick. So let's start the draft, and let's just go all the way up to the top and sort by potential. And you can see that our head scout seems to think that he has the potential. He has 80 grade potential, which is what you want to see out of your guy. So we do have we have a reliever here that I wouldn't be against getting in a later round if he's still there. But the first overall pick for your Colorado Rockies in 2022 is going to be out of Troy University, Rogelio Delgado. So we will draft the player and move on to the second round. That reliever's still there. We'll wait and see if he remains there later on. So seems like this is a pretty pitching-heavy draft from the looks of it, so we'll see if we can maybe get another ground ball power pitcher. That would be ideal. So let me take a second here. Let me try to find somebody. All right, I think I found the guy that we're going to go with here in this round, which is round number 2, and it is going to be another college arm, this time out of the University of Louisville. Roger Gutierrez, a 2.56 ERA, 119 strikeouts to 35 walks this season in college. A ground ball power pitcher who sits 95 to 97. The control is going to be a major question mark. That'll determine how good he becomes. It seems like he'll be a solid 5-pitch pitcher. I don't think the changeup will ever come around. The stamina isn't super high, but for a starting pitcher, I can deal with 45 stamina. So that is who we're going to go with here in round number 2, Roger Gutierrez, and we're going to simulate here to the third round. So let's see who we want to take this time around. All right, I think in the third round here, we're going to go with a high school bat, and we're going to get this right fielder, Jimmy Dreher. I think that he should be able to play a solid right field, if not spectacular. It seems like the power would be pretty solid, especially the gap power. Not that in Colorado it matters all that much, but I think that he could be a solid offensive piece for us. You can see in high school this year, he had 427 with a 500 OBP. Once again, high school stats, not that they fully matter, but that is who we're going to get in the third round, Jimmy Dreher, and we're going to simulate up to the fourth round now. Okay, in this round, we're going to take a high school arm. The options are not super great according to my scout, but we're going to take a chance on Ethan Patera, an 18-year-old arm out of Illinois who's committed to the University of Louisville. He's not a ground baller. He's not a power pitcher. He only said 91 to 93. But I'm going to take a chance on him because his personality, he studies the game like no other and will give you 100% effort on and off the field to improve his game. He has high loyalty, high work ethic, high intelligence, and low greed. And I've seen in the past, if you draft guys like this, sometimes they end up developing better than you could have ever thought. So I'm going to take a chance here on Ethan Patera in round number 4, and that'll take us to round number 5. All right, and in this round, we're going to take a chance on center fielder Ben Everett out of Stanford Central in New York. He is committed to Schenectady County Community College, a JUCO. He's not going to ever have any really good power, but he's kind of similar to the international amateur free agent that we signed. Defensively, I don't think he's going to stick in center field. He'd probably have to go to a corner spot unless the range somehow improves. But we'll take a shot on him. I mean, it is the 5th round, so at this point, we're just trying to find the best that we can find. That seems to be Ben, at least in our head scout's opinion. So we're going to go with Ben. And in this round, we're going to take Riley Stanford, a high school senior out of Buford in Georgia, who's committed to the U. Not because of his pitching ratings, but because it seems like he could maybe be a solid bat with 60 grade power, 45 grade contact, an okay eye, okay at avoiding strikeouts. So we're going to take him. We're going to convert him to a corner outfielder because he can't play center, but with his error and his arm, I think he would probably fit well in left or right. So we're going to take a chance on Riley Stanford here in round number 6. So in round number 7, we're going to take a chance on a relief pitcher, our first relief pitcher, just sole relief pitcher of the draft, and Alaska Abney. I'm taking him 1 because his name is Alaska, and 2 because I want to see how he develops an extreme ground ball, a submarine guy that only throws 85 to 87. That's kind of appealing to me. I really want to see if he can become something good. I think that would be kind of neat. Out of Coastal Carolina University, he's done well the past 2 seasons. So we're going to throw the start here. We'll see if it sticks. Alaska Abney in round number 7. And now I'm going to get my first catcher of the draft. I think it's always good to get some solid catchers with solid ability behind the plate for the minor leagues. And that's going to be Ben Lee, who has high loyalty, work ethic, and intelligence. He is out of high school as well at 18 years old. So that'll be our pick for round number 8. We're going to draft yet another high school bat this time around. It'll be the shortstop, Mike Dean, another guy that won't seem to have a lot of power. His eye doesn't seem to be very good at all, but defensively, it seems like he could be kind of solid anywhere in the infield. The contact and the avoid strikeout ratings are kind of intriguing, so we're going to go with Mike Dean here in round number 9, and then we have one more pick that we're going to do on screen, and that guy is going to be Bo Bonds. He has a cool mustache and his player-generated picture, and his name is Bo Bonds. It can't be bad if your name is Bo Bonds. That's got to be against the rules. So we're going to go with Bo Bonds here in round number 10. So I will work on getting those guys signed and finishing the draft and getting everything all sorted out. So by the time I come back, I think we'll probably look into some trades that we could maybe make to improve the team ahead of the final couple months of 2022. Okay, it is Monday, July 18th. We are officially at the All-Star break. We're just waiting on Gutierrez and Everett to sign, but we have added everybody to a short list. I just need to do this little thing where I disable AI demotion and promotion. All right, so that's all done. So let's take a look here at the All-Star Game rosters. I imagine we probably had to get a couple of representatives. We are 43 and 48 at this point, by the way. So here is your National League roster. We did get Lance McCullers. He gets an All-Star nod. And that is it. So we only get one representative this year. We only got one representative last year. And our lone representative is Lance McCullers. Well-deserved. He's had a very solid season for us. A 3.17 ERA, a 3.26 FIP. Batters are OPSing 670 off of him. 115 strikeouts to 40 walks. He's done better than I could have ever expected. So that was your National League squad. Here is your American League squad right there. So see if your favorite player made it in, see who made it in, and then one more time, here is the National League squad. So the prospect game, let's see if we got anybody here. So we did get Brandon Clark, we got Jack Leiter, we got Drew Romo, and that's it. So 3 prospects that made it, which is that's good. That's good to see for sure. Jack Leiter's having a solid season. His whip is very high, but I think he's having a pretty solid go around. Not striking out as many guys as I would like him to, but a 4.19 FIP. He is still developing. Brandon Clark right now is doing much better at rookie ball, so we're going to call him up to where is it? Transaction. So we're going to put him up to Fresno because he's doing much better. He's doing just as I wanted him to do in rookie ball, so he is now called up. And Drew Romo, we'll see how he's doing. He's doing about league average with the bat, 99 WRC+. So this is a guy we might look to call up to AAA at some point, and then I'm sure he'll be up with the Major League squad in 2023 at some point. So that is that. So it is the All-Star break, 43 and 48. We'll take a look here at the schedule. We are kind of starting to come back down to earth a little bit. We lose 3 out of 4 to the Phillies. We lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, and which is not good. We have a big series coming up after the All-Star break with the Diamondbacks. In fact, this is a big rest of the month. This will kind of determine what I do at the deadline, if I choose to really be aggressive or if I choose to just be a little more conservative. 3 against the Diamondbacks, 4 against the Giants, and 3 more against the Diamondbacks, and that leads up to the deadline. Right now, we have fallen to 6 games out of the wild card race. So those are big series. Diamondbacks right now in second place, the Padres firmly ahead of them in first place, and the Giants are 34 and 55. So those are games that we're gonna need to win. So I'm gonna simulate up ahead here. Harrison Bader day-to-day injury, perfect time for that because we don't have any games. So I'm gonna simulate up ahead and see how the team does. So give me just one moment here. Hopefully I have some good news for you when I cut back in. All right, it is the deadline. 47 and 53. The Rockies record stands now 8 games back in the wild card race. That stretch of games did not go as we needed it to. We lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks. We only split with the Giants, and we lost won a game against the Diamondbacks to start this series. So not really what we were looking for coming out of the All-Star break. By the way, apparently Joey Gallo won the home run challenge, and apparently the All-Star game was in Colorado, which I didn't know about, but at least we had a representative, which is good. Didi Gregorius got injured, so you can see that he's going to be out for another 5 days with hamstring tendonitis, so we moved Leori Garcia into a starting role. We adjusted the lineup a little bit. So we'll take a look here at what's available on the trading block. If I see something that I think can make us a better team without giving up too much, I will explore it. So let's go to all players and then overall. So I'm going to examine some trades here. I'll come back and let you all know if I find something that makes sense. Okay, I was able to find a couple of trades to make to give us the best chance possible to make a late season run and hopefully make a playoff push. It's, I ultimately, I don't think making the playoffs this season is realistic, but I did what I had to do. I'm going to try my best to put these guys in the best possible position to get that second wildcard spot and to make the playoffs. I don't know if it'll work, but I decided to just try it out because we are 47-53, and hopefully it'll work out for us and we make the playoffs earlier than we could have expected. So I made 2 trades. I focused just on the pitching staff. I looked at potential offensive upgrades, but I decided not to go for any. I figured the pitching staff was more of a pressing issue, especially the rotation. So the first trade that I made was with the Houston Astros, and in that deal, I received Framber Valdez and Corey Knebel, and in return, I sent them Sonny Gray and a second base prospect, Eddie Diaz. So I made this deal because Sonny Gray, it seemed like, was not. He was too up and down for my liking. He had been kind of better recently, but then you see like these rough starts in between. I wanted to try to find someone that had a little more consistency. So we get Framber Valdez, who is an extreme ground ball pitcher with solid stuff and movement, okay control, and 3+ pitches. One of the better FIPS in the majors this season. So that's why I want to acquire him. He's also very cheap. He only has 3 years of service time, so he's team controllable, and he's a lefty, which is something that we could use. And we get Knebel, who we thought about signing in the offseason in 2021. We chose not to. He decided to go to the Astros, and he has not had a very good season ERA-wise. His FIP is 3.91, and I think that he can be better with us here. It seems like the bullpen here has been very good, so I think Knebel should be able to fit. So we get Knebel. He is going to fit into our pitching staff as our closer. We're going to move Hicks to a setup role. We'll see if he can maybe do a little better there because Knebel expects to be the closer. So that was trade number 1. And then trade number 2, if we go to logs, and trade log was with the St. Louis Cardinals. Again, we went back and we've got Carlos Martinez we traded Yancy Almonte and Drew Rasmussen. So we basically replaced Rasmussen with Knebel because Rasmussen was not doing very well this year. One of the low spots of our bullpen this season was Rasmussen, and we traded Almonte because we needed to open up a spot for Martinez. So we decided just to trade Almonte, and we get Martinez, who's been one of the better pitchers in baseball this season. He is a ground ball pitcher. He's due $17 million this season. The Cardinals are going to retain 40% of that. He has a team option for $18 million that we will decline. So it seemed like an easy deal to make. So if we go to statistics and we go to sortable stats for pitchers, I basically want to see the FIP of certain guys. You can see McCullers is actually third in the major leagues among qualified pitchers in FIP at 3.02. If we go a little further down, Corbin Burns is right there as well as 3.57. If we go further down, we have Carlos Martinez just right here at 3.92. And then Framber Valdez is somewhere in here. There he is at 4.01. So they're all towards the top of the league among qualified pitchers in FIP, which is good. In fact, if you actually go to pitching leaders, I was kind of surprised to see this. McCullers and Burns are actually in the top 6 for pitcher WAR this season, which was really cool to see. So those were the two moves that I made. We add Valdez and Martinez to this rotation, which now has 2 lefties instead of just one in Austin Gomber. So hopefully this will help us stabilize the rotation and make a push. We get rid of Sonny Gray and Yency Almonte. We bring in Framber Valdez and Martinez, which in a vacuum I'd like to think is an upgrade. And then we bring in Knebel, who is going to slot in as our closer now. We move Jordan Hicks to a setup role, Scott Oberg to middle relief. And those were the moves that we decided to make. Hopefully they will help us out, make a push. Take a look here at info. We went 10-15 in July, which was our worst month of the season by winning percentage. So this is the stretch run. We're going to need to make a run here. So we'll do one game here against Arizona, and that way we can start fresh in August. And the game against Arizona, we do win 6-5, which is nice to see. So that'll be that for this episode. And the next episode, which will be on Monday, we will see if the moves turned out to be good moves. So in Carlos Martinez's first game with us, look at that, 6 innings, 1 earned run. It just came off a home run, 4 strikeouts, 0 walks. So that move is already paying off incredibly well. Of course, I know it's I know that it's small sample size, but whatever. We are 7 games now out of a wild card spot. And we'll see if we can catch up to the Diamondbacks. Taking a look at our schedule, we play the Giants 3 more times, so we're going to need to get some wins there. We'll see if we play the Diamondbacks. So we play the Diamondbacks 6 more times on the season. Wow, the regular season goes late this year. October 9th. Wow. So we play the Diamondbacks 6 more times. We're going to need to win as many of those games as we can and then win as many of the other games as we can too. Taking a look at the schedule, we played the Dodgers 3-6... 9 more times. We play the Padres 3-6 9 more times. So we play the top 2 teams in our division 9 more times. We play the Diamondbacks, who are ahead of us in the wild card race, 6 more times. So we'll have a chance to gain some ground, but overall we need these pitching additions to work, and if they do, at the very least we'll play around 500, which is what our owner wants. And if they don't, we tried our best. We gave it the old college try, and we tried to improve the team as we could. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Enjoy your weekends, and I will catch y'all again next week to see if the Rockies can make the playoffs here in 2022 in the next episode. I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.